Heard your book, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's doing really well. Yeah, I wrote about the Islamic dilemma.
Yeah.
Got Dr. David Wood to do the forward for it.
I don't know who that is.
You know who that is. He's a cool guy.
I got Itachi here. She might want to talk to you about it. You know, you guys can
Yeah,
talk
absolutely, man. Yeah, I'll be for that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you got your cameras. We got our cameras. So good. Yeah.
All right, bet. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Sure.
Hey, Chris, you want to do like one topic, yeah? So you talk about Muhammad in the Bible, and then you talk about that as well?
Yeah, as long as we do talk about the Islamic dilemma as part of it, yeah, that's fine.
Yo, Itachi, we'll talk about Islamic dilemma first, and then we'll talk about that after. All right, that's cool. All right, you good? You got all your people?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to come over here?
Yeah, we'll come over there. Yeah.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord. You can frame out how yeah. So.
Whoa.
That's your camera. All right, you can come over here. Go. All right. So you sound right. You good.
All right, we all good then?
You good?
All right, so you want to start?
Where's the mic?
Yeah.
All right, open the light. Huh? Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Let's get it up, put it on. So, my name's Chris. I wrote the book, The Islamic Dilemma. And as you can imagine, that's a topic that's pretty big interest to me. And I know it's also something that you've debated on in the past. So I'd love to have a discussion with that. So if you want, I can present it, and then you can...
I've seen you present the argument, but, just for everybody else.
For everyone, yeah, because people here maybe not have heard it, so, okay. So the Islamic dilemma, when we summarize it, what we say is this. We say that the author of the Quran has made an error or a blunder or is incoherent. And the reason we think this is because the author of the Quran, he says that the Torah and the Gospel, the Injil, has been sent from Allah. It is inspired, preserved, and authoritative. But at the same time as affirming these scriptures as inspired, preserved, and authoritative, in the 7th century in Arabia, he also then goes on to contradict those very scriptures. So he affirms the very thing that he actually also denies. So on the one hand, he's saying, yes, this is from God. You are required to follow it. It is actually part of the Iman, the 6 articles of faith, that you believe in all of the books that Allah has sent, which includes the Torah, the Injil, and the Psalms.
The 6 articles of faith
For the Christians and Jews, right.
Okay.
But what that means from a Quranic point of view would be that the Christians and Jews are required to follow it prior to the Quran.
So, firstly, you said that they're preserved as well, according to the Quran?
Yes.
Okay, where does the Quran say that they're preserved?
It says they are preserved, and we can infer this due to the fact that the Quran explicitly requires Christians and Jews. Yes, by the fact that, for example, it's Al-Ma'idah, so chapter 5 of the Quran, in verses 43 to 48, especially in verse 48, it says that they have a law that they are required to race to do all that is good in that law. And that law is unique to the Christians and unique to the Jews and unique to the Muslims. All of it is valid, and if it is valid, it has to therefore be preserved.
Okay, so in the Quran, does it say that sometimes the Jews, they follow laws other than what stands with them? They follow the laws and the things that come to them from the rabbis?
So that's a really good point. The Quran, all over the place, although it does affirm the Torah as inspired, preserved, and authoritative, it does say that there are Jews that simply fail to do this. There are Jews that actually take the Torah and yuharifuna, they distort or they conceal some of the words in the Torah. So they take it from the places, they hide it, they conceal it, maybe even altering it in some of their own local copies, potentially, if you wanted to read that in there. But there's nothing in it that says that the actual text itself of the Torah or Gospel is corrupt or in some way not authoritative for them to follow.
Okay, so that's in terms of the Quran on a surface level text. But if you're critiquing our actual position, we obviously take Quran and Hadith, yeah? Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, in the Quran itself, it says that a lot of these people were responsible for many of these different things, like such as preserving the book and so on. In chapter 62, verse 5, it says that they were instructed to take care of it, but the way that they dealt with it was as if they were carrying books on their backs like donkeys, right?
Which means they had it, right?
Meaning they had books with them, and they didn't actually take care of them. Like
they didn't read them.
A donkey could carry a book on its back. If the book falls,
Right.
could start eating that book.
Yeah, the donkey can't read the book, right?
Exactly.
Which
No,
is
the
what
donkey
they're not
can't
reading the
read
books.
the
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we know the rabbis do read the books. The whole point
Yeah,
is
so they
that
have a
it's
Torah
keeping
and they have it with them.
No problem.
Yeah.
So, if they don't care about these books with them, and they don't see the level or the magnitude that's with them in regards to what God gave them or anything of the sort, then naturally what we're going to see is that the fact that these Jews, right, no longer are they taking care of these books. They don't care. We call this muhmin in Arabic, meaning that they're arrogant about it, they're ignorant, they don't care about it. Okay. So what we want to know is whether or not they actually preserve this historically speaking, because you have a position right now of it being like the Quran is saying an absolute confirmation of these scriptures, whereas I have a general confirmation.
What does general mean?
General meaning that there are certain stories that are spoken about within the Quran that are also found in the Bible, such that we're able to come to a general understanding or conclusion that this is referring to the same.
When you say general, what do you mean by that?
Meaning that we know that it's referring to the same person that's in that prior scripture.
So do you mean most of the...
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So the Quran talks about a man named Moses who split the sea. The Bible talks about a man named Moses who split the sea.
Okay.
Historically speaking, we only know of one man who is named Moses who split the sea. Yes, this is what I mean by general.
So when you say general, you mean it in the sense of most of something?
Sense, yes.
In a broad sense. So most of what is in our scriptures you confirm?
Yes.
Okay,
In terms of
all right.
the stories themselves.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
What we want to know is whether or not your position is going to be more in line with regards to the Quran and what we can understand historically, or my position. Okay?
Sure, yeah.
So whatever is going to go with the two positions. So, my position, right, I can substantiate that the Torah was not something which was preserved based off of the historical documentation that we have based on it. We know that from the traditions of the Jews, they know that they have lost the Torah at different points.
That's
in time.
interesting. That's really interesting. Because let's say that's true. How do you know the Quran is not confirming it anyway?
Confirming what, sorry?
So for example, let's say the Torah, let's take that hypothesis, right? Let's say the Torah is horribly corrupt by the time of Muhammad. How do you know Muhammad isn't confirming it anyway, thinking it's not corrupt? Yeah, even though, and thinking it's not corrupted.
Beautiful, because
Right.
we have certain instances between the Torah and the Quran. For example, the Exodus account, as you may have heard before, where it talks about Moses' hand being lepers versus the Quranic account
Right.
saying it's not lepers whatsoever.
Yeah.
And this is further confirmed by the Hadith corpus, where it says Moses never had any leprosy.
Right.
So we know very clearly what is meant by that verse there in chapter 20. Right. And then we have other
I don't think that's really an answer. What I'm saying is how do you know that he hasn't made an error in confirming something that's corrupt?
because this tradition is not found in those particular scriptures, right? And it's not found in any traditions external to the Torah either.
No. So we got some points here. So the first one is the Quran confirms the Torah,
Yeah.
right? Okay, it says it's inspired, came from God. It says you can follow it. Jews, you have to follow it. If you don't, you're hypocrites. You're, all this sort of stuff. And it says that, okay, so you have to do it, you have to follow it. But then you're saying, well, maybe it was corrupted.
No, I'm not saying maybe it's corrupted.
You're saying it is.
It is
It is. Okay, so sorry,
well,
it is corrupted.
The
Yeah.
confirmation aspect that we're trying to debate right now is whether
Yeah.
or not it's wholesale corruption,
Right.
a wholesale affirmation of the prior scripture,
Yeah.
or if it's only in parts.
Well, that's different from what you said a moment ago. Because a moment ago I asked you what general means, and you said it means broadly. So you mean
Yes,
mostly.
In regards to the stories, it's going to be a broad understanding in
So-
terms of those stories being the same.
Well, the Quran actually gives examples not just of stories, but for example, the Mosaic Law.
Sure, of course, because
okay.
it talks about eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth,
Okay.
and so on. It's talking about general interaction between
Yeah.
the two scriptures.
Okay, and you're saying you confirm that's a confirmation broadly, so
Yeah.
most of it.
You could say most of it. I
Without
don't know what
making
you mean by
distinction.
broadly most of it.
Well,
I say
when you
broadly
say the
most
word
of it,
broadly,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Broadly, most of it here is
Yeah.
just simply going to be the fact that these things, we see commonalities between the two of them, yet we
Yeah.
also see many differences.
Right.
The commonalities make it very clear to us that, for example, that these are talking about the same individuals.
Right.
Okay, or the same stories, same
Right.
concepts, etc.
So when you say generally, I just want to know what you mean, because it sounds to me like
I
you're
think
either
it's very
saying
clear, Chris.
partially.
I think you get exactly what I mean.
Well,
with
no,
the way
what,
I gave.
do you mean partially, or do
mean
you
by
mean
partially?
broadly?
Okay.
Partially just means some of it. So like this bit, but not this bit.
Okay, you could say some of it. You could
Because
say that
generally
in a sense,
is the opposite of the word partially.
no, that's not
No,
true.
in English, yes.
So
the
if I
word
say
generally.
generally speaking,
Yeah.
you have a scripture, for example, in the Old Testament,
Right.
where they generally speaking say
Yeah.
some of the book of Enoch is correct,
Okay, sure.
but the rest of it is not.
Sure.
Is that general or is that partial?
No, you elaborated there. We're talking about just saying
Yeah,
general.
in the book,
So if I
in
said,
the
so if I
Old
said to you,
Testament, I'm
I
going to give you the example. In
let-
the Old Testament,
Right,
it says
let's have a good
that
one.
There's a quote
Yeah.
where it quotes from the book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. you don't believe that the book of Enoch is canon.
Right.
Correct? But that scripture is
Yeah.
still something that is
Yeah.
used as scripture.
Which
is
we have no
what you
problems
believe in,
with,
correct?
because it doesn't specifically say it is scripture in our canon. So that's not an issue for
Is
us.
all scripture God breathed?
Yeah. Does it
Okay.
say that
Is it in the scripture?
does it say that this is scripture?
Is it in the scripture?
Does it
Is the
say it
Bible
is
not the
though?
scripture? Hold on.
Wait.
Is there
Let's
any- is
establish.
there-
Wait.
okay.
First
So
of all,
is
we're
there any- is
deviating,
there any
but I
verses
will
in the
deal with
Bible that
this.
are not
Let
scripture?
me show this. Can the Bible refer to things outside of itself that is not
Not my
divinely
question.
inspired?
Not my question.
It is your
Answer my
question.
que- no, that's not my
Notice,
question.
she wants
I'm
to avoid that
asking you,
question.
the scripture itself,
Because if
the
she answers
Bible-
that, she'll answer herself. Do you see that? Do you see that? So again,
no,
can
no,
the
no, no,
Bible,
no, no, no.
according
I
to
want- I
our
want an
tradition,
answer to my
no,
question, Chris.
I am
Before
answering
continue-
you.
no,
I
you're not.
definitely am
You're
answering
not.
you.
Okay, let me make it
Because
clear.
I'll
then. Let me
I'll
make
even
the
answer.
question
I'll
clear.
say
Let
it
me
for
make the
you.
question clear,
Okay,
and then
I'll let you say it again.
So, the Bible, okay, in its totality, is
Yeah.
that scripture? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, the total, every single verse in the Bible is scripture. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. In that same Bible, does it have a verse from the book of Enoch?
Yes.
Okay, good. And in that book of Enoch,
Yeah.
you don't believe that that's canon,
Right,
correct?
yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yet the Bible, which you believe is scripture, is
Yeah.
quoting a verse from something
Yes.
that's not scripture.
Is that a problem in our tradition?
No, that's exactly my point.
Oh,
That's what I'm
is it?
asking you.
That's what I asked you. So I said, in our tradition, can the Bible quote from something that's
Brother,
not
I'm
inspired?
asking you the question. Can I get
No,
an
no.
answer to it?
And it's literally the same question back to you.
I don't want you to answer
What's
my
your question?
with the same
What's your question to
back.
me?
Answer my
No, what's your question to me?
My question is,
Yeah.
does the Bible quote
Yeah.
something that you don't
I've already answered
believe
that.
in its totality?
I've already answered that. Yes. Now,
good.
now,
So is that a
does
problem,
that?
yes or no?
Okay, that's what I'm asking you.
No, that's my question to you.
Okay,
to
so
begin
I'll
with.
answer then. So it's not a problem for us. The reason why is because divine scripture can quote things that in and of themselves are not divine scripture. That's perfectly fine.
Beautiful.
Now
So
the onus is on you to explain why that's a problem.
Okay. So is it quoting it as if it is divine?
Does it say it's divine?
I'm asking you. Is it quoting it as if it's
Okay,
divine?
it doesn't say it's divine, so no.
Okay, so the Bible is quoting things from people that
Yeah.
have nothing to do with God whatsoever?
Wait, so is that what you inferred from that?
That's what I'm asking.
So
you.
no, you didn't. No,
Again,
see,
I'm
you see what she did
asking-
there?
have I
She was
said anything?
inferring
I'm
that.
asking you
See, that's not being honest. So let's be honest here.
Brother,
What
I
the
asked the question.
the question properly asked would be something like, if the Bible is quoting from other sources that we don't consider to be inspired, is that a problem for us? The answer is no, because we think that the Bible can freely do so without making that other thing in and of itself scripture.
But once it is quoted in the Bible, it does become scripture, yes?
No, just that particular verse in the Bible.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but not the book.
Right, I agree. Okay, so that's good.
Okay,
in
so
the Quran,
that's fine then.
In the Quran, when you have the same story
Yeah.
that's being told, for
Uh-huh,
example, okay,
yeah.
the story of Moses' account, where it says that he split the sea through God's power, yeah?
Yeah.
And then in that same account of Moses' story, it talks about the Exodus account, where it talks about his hand being leprous or not leprous.
Sure.
It's constantly changing what's written in the Old Testament.
What happens in that Exodus account? It's Exodus chapter 4. Do you know the story?
Yes, when he goes up on the mountain and
Yeah.
he receives different miracles, he receives the miracle of the staff, the miracle in regards to his hand, and so on. So my
Wait,
question,
what? Where's?
stop,
No, I want to ask you what, because you brought something up, and I want to ask you about it.
irrelevant to the point,
No,
Chris.
you
Okay,
asked
it's
me. No,
irrelevant to the
she
point.
brought up
Stick
the
to the
miracle
point,
of
bro.
Moses' hand going in his cloak. I want to know what it is.
Substance.
I just want to ask you. You mentioned Moses putting his hand in his cloak.
Yeah.
What is that in the Exodus account? It's in Exodus chapter 4. Can you tell me what it is?
No, go ahead.
No. So she mentioned something that
Oh
she
my
doesn't
God.
know.
Bro, look at the performative.
Okay,
It has
okay.
nothing to do
I
with
just
the
want to
topic.
know
The
what-
whole
'cause-
point-
'cause
the whole
I'm making a point of
the whole
this.
Is that in the
I'm
Exodus account,
right,
it says his hand
right.
is leprous.
Speaking
The
over each
Quranic
other.
account,
Fair
Let
enough.
one person speak.
the Quranic
fair
account,
enough, that's
the
fair.
Quranic
Yeah.
account says it's not leprous. That's the point. Can you deal with that or
Okay.
not?
I don't think you know the actual account. So can I ask you a
Can you
question?
deal with
Can,
the
can
point
I
or
ask you a
not?
question?
Can you deal with the point
I'm
or
going
not?
to tell you the story.
Everybody
Wait.
speaks
I want to
Quranic.
ask her the story and see if she knows this. Okay, so the third sign is Moses puts his hand in the
And his cloak.
here we go, and he takes it out, and it's leprous.
Yes.
Is that the account?
No, that's not the account according to the biblical narrative.
What is it-
The
what is it
narrative
then?
Saying that he has leprosy in general.
Okay, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this again. So this is Exodus chapter 4, right? I think it's verse 6.
Hey, brother, can
So
you just deal with the substance?
no, because you brought this up.
Can
So
you
I
deal with the
want to
substance,
ask her
bro?
about it. Now, Moses puts his hand in his cloak, comes out leprous.
Yes.
Now what?
Now what? Can you deal with the substance? Now
She
what?
doesn't know the story. She doesn't know the
He
story.
doesn't want to deal with the substance. I don't
What's the
care
actual
about
story?
I'll
Tell me the
I'll tell you
story.
what the actual story
You-
is.
you-
He
you-
pulls his
I'm
hand
not-
out, it's not leprous.
Okay,
That's what the Quran
okay.
says.
Does
That's
the
what
Bi-
the Quran says, brother.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know the actual story in the biblical account.
She just said the story.
No, she said what's in the Quran.
Yes.
And the
Can you deal with
What's
the
in the
substance
What's in the
now?
Bible? What does the Bible
Brother,
say?
I already told you I don't care what the Bible says. Can you
Doesn't
deal with
doesn't
the
care
actual
what the
issue?
Bible says.
No,
She doesn't
because the
actually
Quran
know
is the whole
her
point of
own
this
examples. She's ignorant of her own examples.
Oh my God.
Don't say,
Do you
oh
need
my
a
God,
different
don't say that,
example?
come on.
Do you need a different
Hold
example?
ourselves to a higher
Okay,
standards,
so can we
yeah?
get to the point now?
Yeah,
Can we get to the
we're
point?
meant to be people who represent our
Brother, can you
faiths.
get to the point?
My point is this. I actually don't think it's a contradiction. And if you watch my content, you'll know this. And I
Sure,
bring
go
this
ahead.
exact example up.
Go ahead. I don't watch your
And
content. I don't
that's
watch
absolutely fine. You probably should have though, because you'd be better prepared.
That's fine.
The issue is here is that I don't think you actually know the very thing you're comparing it to.
And you
Does-
didn't know that the book of
Do any
Qur'an
Christians
was
here know the story?
That's fine.
What happens when Moses puts his hand in, takes it out, it's leprous? What happens after that?
You put it back in.
Puts it back in. He puts it back in.
And what difference
And then
does
what?
it
Now
make?
what happens?
Now what happens? Tell us.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know the own example she's quoting.
She doesn't know.
All right,
Okay.
so you're
I
giving
guess-
examples.
Do we need the Bible?
Well,
to
this
follow?
was pivotal. This is pivotal to
Pivotal.
your argument because
Pivotal.
you use this as an example of conscious edits.
Go ahead.
But you don't actually know the very story that Allah is
The
supposedly
whole point-
consciously editing.
The whole point is that in one account it says he has leprosy, the other one says he never had leprosy. That's
Never
the-
had leprosy.
Yes, the Quran, and I already substantiated it with the hadith.
In the Quran, tell me where it says he never had leprosy.
I told you, it's in the Quran substantiated with the hadith.
Okay, so in the hadith it says he
Sorry,
never
from
had
the beginning.
leprosy.
Yes,
It says he
because
never
there's
had
a- There's
leprosy.
a tradition where it talks about Moses,
Okay.
peace be upon him. Can I finish?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm
So
listening.
in the hadith, it talks about the tradition. You guys make fun of this hadith all the time, which is fine, no problem. The hadith says that the Jews used to make fun of him and say that he is somebody who has some sort of disease on his body because he never used to go and bathe with them. He never used to take his clothes off or anything in front of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes and he goes for a bath one day.
This is the running away
Yes,
thing.
the
Yeah,
running away
the naked
stone,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So he takes it off and he puts the clothes on the thing and he's exposed to the people and they see
Yeah.
that there is no issue with him whatsoever and
Yeah.
it says that he never has this disease.
Yeah.
So the Quranic account is being substantiated by the hadith account and it makes it very clear within our tradition he never had leprosy. Okay?
Right.
That's the point that we're
You
making.
do realize that that hadith is not talking about his hand though,
It's talking about his body in general.
but his hand is public. What, is he walking around hiding his hand or
We're
something?
talking about
What?
is leprosy just something that is limited to only the hand?
Yes, the whole point of the story is that you put the hand in the cloak and it comes out with leprosy.
Hey brother, if he
I
has
don't think you
leprosy-
actually know this.
If he has leprosy, is it going to just stay right
Sister,
there
in
on
humanity,
the end of the Quran? Can you
it's
please
wise
answer
to
the question?
learn these
Stop
things and
talking
read
to
these
me,
things.
stop doing this.
After
Is he
this
gonna
debate,
stick to his
read
hand or
Exodus
not?
4.
Oh my God.
No, don't
Hey,
say
brother,
that.
Okay, do you want to go to a different account?
Come
Do you want a
over.
different conscious edit
Over?
account?
Yeah, they're saying that just come over.
Oh,
Do you want a
stop.
different
This
account
one.
of conscious edits? You don't want to deal with this one, it seems like.
Well,
so
I
let's
think
go to a different
we've
one. I can
concluded
show
that you
50
don't know
different
the
ones. I
accounts.
can
That's
show
the
you
problem.
50 different ones, no
So
problem.
so I finish and tell them what the account is. All right, the account in the biblical account in Genesis.
Just want to say like this. Just I understand we're having a nice.
I'm not being. I'm rude. I'm just.
I'm
You
not
are.
saying-
You're not engaging
hold
with the
on,
actual
but my
substance.
thing
You
is
want
like
to talk
this.
about who
I
knows
think
what.
you've made a blunder, sister,
I-
and that's why I want to
What?
expose.
I
Yes.
said I don't know the story.
I think she
You
has
don't
made a
wanna deal
blunder.
with the actual
Yeah.
substance of it.
I understand that, but let's try and do it with more in a more respectful way.
I think I'm being pretty respectful, my
already
friends.
told
I
you I
appreciate
don't
your
know the
respect
story.
as well,
But-
but I haven't name called or
Putting
anything like
out
that.
It's okay.
Blunder, that's fine.
I
Oh, come
mean,
on. I'm
yeah,
saying
but
she made a
it's-
blunder. That is the most British way I can do
It's all good,
that.
it's all good. Look, stop.
So-
Stop. 1 second.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, there we go. So
The
yeah.
story in and of itself,
Yeah.
the details in regards to the account, I don't mind about those.
Okay, but that's actually the key.
It's really not. Okay,
If there's a
because
contradiction or
hold
not,
on.
depends on the
If my
details.
Position, if my
Yeah.
position is that he never had leprosy whatsoever,
right.
and the biblical account is telling me he
Okay.
had some form of leprosy at
Right.
some point in time,
Right.
that is the actual blunder
Right.
that we're dealing with.
Well, the blunder here is the Quran says that he took his hand out and there was no leprosy, which implies that he previously had leprosy,
No.
which is exactly what we see in Exodus chapter 4, verse
Beautiful,
6,
beautiful.
where he puts his hand in, takes it out, and it has leprosy. He puts it back in, takes it out, and it's gone. All the Quran is doing is summarizing that very account. So it's not even an issue.
No, it's actually doing the opposite. Okay, it's saying the
Okay.
opposite of the account because what we know from the Islamic account or the Islamic view of Moses is that he would have been somebody who was darker in skin tone. So when his
Okay.
hand is being pulled out and it becomes white without any disease or any malformality or anything of the sort, right? All it's talking about here is the fact that it's addressing that these prior scriptures are saying that he had this disease. Okay. But the Quran is saying he doesn't have this disease. In that specific, hold on.
Yep.
Okay. Yet the Hadith account makes it even clearer and says he never had leprosy whatsoever. Okay?
Yeah, your hadith account I don't think makes any sense.
But you're
because
are you
again,
doing it
you're
internal
talking about
critique or not?
look, yeah, I'm talking about your own hadith.
Okay, so
his
my
hand
account-
is
hold on.
visible,
My
right?
account goes with the Quran and the Hadith.
I know,
correct?
that's fine.
Okay,
So
and
let's
my-
talk about the
and
hadith.
interpretation that I received for the Hadith and the
Okay,
Quran comes
that's
from
fine.
you.
But let me just follow
Who
this.
does it come from?
Let me follow this, please.
Can you just
Okay.
tell me who it comes
I'm
from?
talking about your hadith.
I know you're talking
Okay.
about the Hadith. My understanding of Hadith and Quran, who
I
does it
just
come
want to talk
from?
about the hadith, right?
Who does my
So,
understanding
in
of
the
Hadith
hadith,
come
you
from?
mentioned that Moses being exposed as being naked was evidence that he never had this disease. The issue with that, though, is that the disease is on his hand,
Is his
which
hand
is
part of his
public.
body, brother?
It's public.
Is his hand part of his body?
Are you telling me he hid his hand
Is
for like
his hand
years or
part of his
something?
body?
Was he just walking around like this,
Is his
so no one knew what he was doing? Is
Is
that
his
what we're
hand
supposed to
part of his
believe? That's bizarre.
Is his hand
Sister,
part of his
your
body?
explanation of that hadith is
his
ad
hand
hoc.
part of his body?
Can you show me scholars
Is
that
his
actually
hand
say
part
that?
of his
Because I have a
body,
funny
sir?
feeling that's not
Is
a
his
proper.
hand part of his body?
Yeah,
Yes or
I
no?
don't think you've
Is your hand part of your body?
Is it public?
Is your hand part of your
Yes,
body?
it is public.
Okay, beautiful. If your hand is part
Okay,
of your
beautiful.
body, can he clearly cover it if he wanted to? Can he walk
You
around?
are you honestly telling me for
Can I-
like
can I
years
walk
he's
around?
doing this?
If I was
Come
walking
on.
around, can I cover
You
my
know
hand?
that's not
Can I
fair.
not cover
You
my
know that
hand?
you know that's not true.
Okay, beautiful. So, if his hand is part of his body and
Yeah.
it says none of his body had any leprosy whatsoever, then his hand had no leprosy on it.
The account that you're comparing it to in the Quran is
It's that
talking
simple.
about
It's
his
that
hands.
simple. The
Sister,
hadith says that he didn't have
si-
it at all on his body.
Right.
You're not going to come here and critique
but
the
that makes
hadith
no
portions or
sense.
anything.
Why
I
would
don't care if you
why
don't
would
think it doesn't make
Moses
sense.
need
Now
to
you're
be
not
exposed
attacking my position
naked
anymore.
if the leprosy is on his
So
hands?
now you don't want to deal with the
That makes no
position anymore. He
sense.
doesn't want to deal with the position
It's not
anymore.
no,
He
the
wants to
position
attack the
anymore.
position itself and talk
Your
about whether
your
or not
understanding
this
of
is true or
hadith makes
inconsistent.
no
Either
sense.
it's the case you actually talk about the position or you're doing a critique
I just
of something
did.
that
I just told you
doesn't-
your
hold on,
hadith
hold on.
understanding is
Okay,
weird.
so you're critiquing something that I don't actually hold to.
That is your position. You
No, I
literally
don't
told
hold
me
to the fact
that
that it's
hadith.
weird.
Yeah, well, I know. Maybe you don't
that's
see it's
you
weird,
critiquing the
but
hadith purpose.
you're basically telling me Moses was like hiding his hand for years because
I never
apparently.
said he has to be hiding his hand for years. All
Okay,
I'm saying-
does the Quranic
oh my God. Hey, brother,
don't say that.
hey,
Does the
listen,
Quranic
I can
account?
say what I want, okay?
I know,
Can you
but
pay
be
attention?
better
Can you
than
just pay
that. Be
attention?
better than that.
There's-
Right? Both of
there's-
us. Let's
we
go to
don't-
both
we
of
don't-
us.
We don't believe in this taking the Lord's name in vain. That's your Protestant interpretation. Okay. Now, when it
Okay.
comes to the hadith and the understanding of it and who the scholars say it's regarding and all of the context of it and all of these things,
Yeah.
that is what you have to deal with.
Right.
Not about whether you
Not
think
the
it's
reason.
weird, not whether you think it's weird,
But it's
not whether
irrational.
You think it's this. I don't mind what you think. If you're going to
No,
deal
no,
with the
no.
actual
I've
position,
explained to you why it's irrational.
if you don't want to deal with the actual position, you could go to another
Listen,
topic.
does
You
the
wanna go to another
Quran
topic?
does the
Do
Quran
you
talk
want to
about
go
the
to another topic?
hand or not?
Is his hand part of his body? Are we going to go through this again?
Okay. Does the
Is his hand part
Quran
of his body?
does the
Yes or no?
Quran talk about his hand
Yes,
being
his
free?
hand, which is part of
Okay,
his body,
right.
yes,
So
go ahead.
the issue here is that he has an illness supposedly, or the Quran is correcting it, saying he doesn't apparently
Right.
on his hand.
Right.
Why does a hadith about him being naked have anything to do with that?
But is it very simple for him to walk around with his hands covered?
Why on earth would he
Can
do that?
Can he? Can he? Is there a
Are you telling me
Is there a
Moses?
contradiction?
Wait. Your view is
there
that
a
Moses
contradiction?
is just like permanently hiding his
He
hands
doesn't have to hide it like that. He could have a long cloak, sir.
all the time,
Sure.
even around family and friends.
What's the issue?
That's silly.
What's the issue?
It's silly.
Okay, so see, he doesn't want to deal with the actual
She's saying Moses is like really scared of showing his hands.
No problem. Sure, he's really scared.
All right.
Yes, actually, the Quran talks about
You see,
how
this
shy
is what
Moses-
happens when
the
you
Quran
don't know
talks about
things.
How shy Moses was.
And when you have to try and fill in the gaps.
Hey, does the Bible talk about how shy Moses was? That's why
Yeah,
he
it
needed
does,
his
yeah.
brother to be his
Yeah,
leading
Aaron
guard.
to be the speaker.
Absolutely. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Quran also says the same thing. So if he's
Yeah.
shy, he's hiding himself. There's no problem.
There's a
You wanna
difference
make
between
fun of the
being
prophets?
shy and
You
hiding
wanna
your
make fun of-
your
you wanna
hands.
make fun of
That's,
the prophets, that's your-
did he
that's
wear
your
like
prerogative,
gloves all the
not mine.
time? I don't
Sure.
know.
You want to make fun of the prophets, that's your prerogative. We don't make fun of the prophets.
I'm making
okay?
fun of a
Beautiful. You're making
narration
fun of the
account,
prophets.
which I don't think is
You
authentic
don't want to get
anyway.
into making fun of the prophets when it comes to the Old Testament. All right, so let's deal with the actual
That's not what I'm
substance.
doing, I'm fine, yeah.
So from the actual position, no, no.
She's just saying I'm making fun of prophets,
Don't worry
apparently.
about it.
So you're making fun of a narration?
Yeah, the narration. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't think I said it's not authentic, so I don't think it goes back to Muhammad anyway. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So now can we actually deal
so
with the issue?
let's go back because I think
So
we've
are
kind of
you
gone on a
gonna
big
deal with my
tangent
position
here.
or not?
Yeah, let's do
deal
that.
with my
So,
position. Go ahead.
are you saying conscious edits is the solution? Are you going to be okay?
No, well, solution to what specifically?
You're going to say that when the Quran contradicts the Torah and the Gospel as we know it, as we understand it, the reason why this happens is not because of an error or anything like that. Rather, the author was actually all aware of the original Torah and Injil, and it's actually just revealing what was originally revealed to Moses and to Isa.
Well, it depends because it doesn't even have to be content that was necessarily in the Torah or Injil, right? It's just going to be interacting with the text that they now have present with them.
Well,
for example, one second. When the Torah talks about Solomon having gone and worshipped idols or anything of the sort, and then the Quran says he did not disbelieve, right? The Quran generally is speaking about the different actions that took place during Solomon's time. That doesn't mean that the original Torah ever said anything about him specifically believing either. It's talking specifically to what they have with them in their hands, yes? And it's refuting those claims that they have.
But what they have with them in their hands is the Torah that Allah sent down.
No, so it's going to be corrupted, right?
Oh, it never says that.
That's the reason. That's the whole. Yes, it is. And on our position.
Well,
is it
I know it's your
corrupted or not?
position. I know that's what you
So you're
think.
dealing with my position,
Right, but what I'm trying to make
So
sure
you're
everyone is
dealing with my
aware of
position,
is that the
right?
Quran never says that.
Okay.
The Quran actually refutes that view
Guys,
very explicitly.
Thank you, but we don't believe in Quran only, right? If you're going to deal with our
The
position,
Hadith refute this position as well.
if you're going to deal with our
Yeah.
position, you deal with it very clearly, right? Our position, the majority position of scholars,
Yeah.
is that the Quran states that the Torah and the Gospel are corrupted, correct?
Oh,
As-
wow.
As to what they have in their hands, the majority position.
Well, it depends what you're talking about. If you're going to go outside of Islamic scholarship, like
No,
Muslims.
I'm talking about Islamic scholarship, sir.
Well, I
You're
mean,
doing
Islamic
my
scholarship, but from a Western perspective or
No,
not?
from the
Because from a
Islamic
Western perspective, no, they would agree with me.
I'm talking about the Islamic perspective, and that's
Yes,
not true either.
because you
we
have to hold that as a
we
statement of
We
faith.
have
Yeah,
Nicholas
it is,
Sinai,
yeah.
who literally just did an interview that also says
You're
that
quoting
it was
Nicholas
not the case.
Sinai.
You said Western scholarship.
Nicholas Sinai has said multiple
Does he talk about the
times.
Islamic dilemma? No.
Yeah,
Do you want me to
he
bring
has-
up the
it-
interview for you right
Absolutely,
now?
yeah. Yeah, you are referring to, or at least one of the places you're referring to, is Exploring the Quran and the Bible. It's a Gabriel Said Reynolds, he owns the channel. He had Nicholas Sinai in, I think it was like a year ago, and they asked him about
this
this.
is a few weeks ago,
I know,
sir.
I've seen both.
Okay,
I've seen
so
both,
the one
either
from
one.
A few weeks
Yeah,
ago,
with
does he
the
say that it's
specific.
does he say that the Quranic position is that it's corrupted, or the Islamic
No, he
position
says
is
that you
it's
won't find that in
corrupted?
the Quran.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to show you the clip?
Yeah, show me. He says if you have to, you can possibly force a reading into it that may allow for some limited, isolated form of it, but you cannot say that the Torah is not reliable. He openly says in that interview that the Torah and the Gospel are reliable according to the Quran that they have with them.
All right. Let's look at what he actually has to say. Okay.
Keep in mind, people have the internet, so we're going to clip that and we're going to show that on camera
I can
afterwards.
I'll clip it for you. and
Well,
I'll
we'll
put
all
it
do it,
together in
right?
the video.
So that way we
No
can all
worries.
see
That's
together.
fine, that's fine. I'll
Because
clip it and I'll
Nikolai
put it for you.
Sinai, I know his view very well.
Very clearly.
I also
he
know
said in
Gabriel
that video-
Said's view,
he says
Said Reynolds'
very
view
clearly in
very
the video-
well.
He says very clearly in that video that this is something where the position is that it's going to be corrupted. That's the general consensus. That's
No,
what he says.
what
in
he says
regards to
about the
Islamic
Quran, there's a difference between what Muslims have to say as a statement of faith, because if they don't, they basically admit the Islamic dilemma is true, and what actual scholarship says about what the Quran is saying. What the Quran says is the Torah and the Gospel are authoritative, preserved, and inspired. That's it. And that's what he says in the interview. He says that they're reliable.
Hold on, I got the video right here. Have you seen this one?
I've seen
Islamic
both.
dilemma and Quranic cosmology?
Yes.
That's the one you've seen.
I'm referring to two. That one and another one from a year ago.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to pull up the transcript for you and I'm going to show you.
Have you seen the one on Gabriel Said Reynolds' channel?
Yes, I have.
You have. Okay, so you're aware he says the same thing there.
One second.
Gabriel Said Reynolds, his view is also that the Quran definitely does confirm
I got you.
the inspiration,
One
preservation,
second,
and authority of the scriptures they have in them in the present time. Not to say that he talks about the Islamic dilemma, because he doesn't, but he understands the tension between the
You said
relationship.
He doesn't talk about the Islamic dilemma?
No, not personally, no.
Are you serious? He literally comes and speaks about it in this topic, in this video.
No, Gabriel Said Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Nicholas
listen to what I'm
Sinai,
saying.
No problem.
Okay,
No, I'm
that's
trying
it.
to get
That's
to
fine.
the part where he
Yeah,
says it.
I know he talks about it in this one because he's asked about it directly by a
Yes,
Muslim. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry, ads. One second. All right.
But ultimately, conscious edits isn't going to help, and neither is general confirmation. General, if you mean broadly,
Okay.
is wrong.
I didn't even care about Western scholars. I'm going to pull up the part for you in the
Well,
transcript, okay?
okay.
What
We'll
I'm
put it up on
talking about
screen to
specifically
show that you're
Islamic-
wrong.
We're talking about the Islamic perspective. The Islamic
Okay.
perspective, the majority of scholars
Well,
say that the scriptures are corrupted.
A Sunni
yes?
perspective.
Yes, Sunni perspective. I don't care about other perspectives.
Okay,
So you're
yeah.
talking about Sunni, right?
I understand,
So-
I'm just saying.
No problem. So the Sunni perspective is that it's corrupted, yes? Majority.
Yeah, they have to say that, though they
And
acknowledge
there's
that the
only a
Quran.
minority position. It's a
Yeah.
minority group that came later on that said it's not corrupted, right?
No,
It's
there,
in
there
the
are
Bible.
actually a fair amount of people that will say, no, the Quran does have a very positive view of the previous
No,
scriptures,
it's
even in the
not-
Sunni
that's not
paradigm.
true.
Yeah.
So you have
What
very
they will
clearly-
do is they will, let me just give you an answer so you know
finish?
so what
Can I
I'm saying.
finish? Because you have in
you
the
asked me
writings
something.
of the scholars, okay, you have in the writings of the scholars where they
Okay.
say we heard of a group that says that the scripture is not corrupted, right? So if he's saying we heard from a group, that means that the majority of the people did not believe that it was, that they did believe that it was corrupted. Okay, so the minority position, which
So,
is from a very
okay.
small fringe group, says that it's not corrupted.
This is interesting because when we're looking at corruption, we have to ask what is actually being meant here. What do you mean specifically when you say it's corrupt?
Sure.
Do you mean it's lost because that was the Ibn
Corruption
Hazm?
textually and
Yeah.
corruption meaning. Okay.
In
Meaning-
any
in
okay,
meaning
so
and
if
in
so if
terms.
I have the original text
Sure.
and then I make a copy of it that I change some words in, is that corruption?
That's gonna be textual corruption.
Okay, so now would you say that in that case that book is corrupted?
Well, it depends because if it's going to be done over a long period of time, and
Right.
then that you don't have the original one anymore,
Ah,
then it's going to
so
be
you
lost.
by corruption you
They don't
mean
have the
lost?
original one. Yes, lost.
Lost.
No, not lost specifically. Corruption is going to be addition or omission made to the text that's not otherwise intended by the original owner.
Okay, so that example what was corruption?
Yes, that is.
So
corruption,
that
what
the book is
says.
now corrupt then?
The version that you have with you in your hand. Is
Ah,
corrupt.
okay, so it's not though. So it's not the book itself isn't corrupted. It's just that version.
Right. The original one is not going to be corrupted.
Ah, okay, right, okay.
But do you have
So
the original? Do you have the first
no,
one
I'm
that
not
was
claiming
given
that
to
we have the
Moses?
original.
Okay,
What I'm
beautiful.
saying
So
though,
then this is the issue that we're dealing with now.
right, what I'm saying here is that the version that was available at Muhammad's time and before, we can trace that historically and through textual manuscripts, and
To
we can
when?
To when? Second century.
Second century what? AD or BCE?
For what?
For the Torah.
Oh, for the Torah, I thought you said
Or
the
the
gospel.
Torah or the Injil, whatever.
Yeah, so you say, well, there's arguments
Torah
about dating, right? So
specifically,
the Septuagint, for example, people argue about that particular dating. Dead Sea Scrolls, they argue about
when?
that dating. So 3rd century BCE,
I'll be generous.
arguably
I'll
1st
grant
century
that to
AD.
you. Yes, I'll grant that to you. 3rd century, 4th
Yeah,
century.
it'll be something along those lines.
So now, we don't have any Torah that goes or extends back even further than that. Maybe I could even grant you the Samaritan text. But further than that, that's still
Sure.
almost about 1,000 years between
Yeah,
the Torah
sure.
when Moses wrote it or received
Why is
it,
that a problem
and
for
then-
either of us?
I got you. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So is it not the case that there are traditions that say that the Torah was completely lost according to the Jews?
Well, there's traditions that say anything.
No.
So I
Do
could
the
have a
Jews
tradition that
believe
says
they lost-
anything.
Do the Jews believe that they lost the Torah?
Do the Jews believe they lost the Torah? No.
Really?
If you ask a rabbinic Jew today, do you think he's going to tell you the Torah is gone?
So do you know about Rabbi
Wait,
Eliezer?
are you going to tell? Are you going to quote me?
can you tell
Wait,
me
wait.
about Rabbi
Are
Eliezer?
you going to? I don't know. But are you going to quote me a rabbinic Jew? Are you going to quote me a rabbinic Jew who says they've lost the Torah?
I got you. So I'm saying, is it the case that this is their position? Because according to the
I don't know.
Bible,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm getting to you.
Yeah.
According to the Old Testament, it says that during their exile in the time of King Nebuchadnezzar, okay, they were thrown out of the temples were burned down with the texts that were in there and everything. Okay. Then the tradition continues outside of the biblical accounts, and they say that all of these Torahs were burned. They didn't have access to it anymore, and the only person who was able to reconstruct it for them was Rabbi Eliezer. Okay. So according to the Jews, do they believe that this entire thing was reconstructed by one man by himself?
So it's different then. So you're not saying it's corrupted, as in lost. You're saying that at
They
some
did
point,
lose it.
some
They
parts
lost
of
the
it.
whole thing. They lost
Right.
the whole thing.
Right,
and
including
one man,
memory.
One man is the one who memorized the entire thing. and
Really? So
reconstructed
none of the
entire-
other rabbis bothered to memorize the Torah.
Well, that's the tradition. So I mean,
That's the
that's
tradi-
according to them. I'm asking you.
So do you actually think that happened?
Look, whether or not I believe it happened or not, that's the
Oh.
tradition according to the Jews.
Are you saying
Where
you're
do you get
doubtful
your
about
book
whether
from?
that happened?
Where do you get the book
Are you
from?
doubtful that it happened?
Where do you get your book from?
Because she knows it's irrational. Because
Where
to
do
say
you
that
get
an
your book
entire
from,
group of people that are known, look at Ibn Kathir, look at Ibn Taymiyyah, they write lyrical about how the
Guys,
Jews
very
are
simple.
well known for
He
memorizing the
receives his book from
Torah.
the Jews. You get your book from the
But
Jews.
she's
In
like,
that
oh, maybe
same
they lost it.
tradition of the Jews, they say that the book is lost. Okay, so from
But
that
Jews-
same
do-
tradition
wait,
of
wait.
the Jews, where they say that it's lost,
Do
you
Jews
accept
believe
their
that it's lost
tradition
today?
From their books?
Do they believe it's lost today?
Do they believe in that tradition?
See, notice she doesn't answer me.
Do they believe in that
See,
tradition?
she could have answered me. Do they believe it's lost today?
According to that tradition, of course. But the
Apparently,
tradition is
sorry
going to
rabbinic
be-
Jews, really sorry about this, but Itachi here has said that you've lost your Torah and you guys have known about this forever.
Absolutely.
Man, that's
Because they don't
really
have it.
that's really shameful.
Because they don't have it, man. It's okay.
But
So,
rabbinic Jews do
according to
not
their
believe that.
tradition-
Rabbinic Jews actually have a very high
Right.
view of the Torah.
Rabbinic
They
Jews-
have a very
rabbinic Jews-
high view.
so in
They
the
hold
same
to
way
traditional
that-
accounts of Mosaic authorship.
Okay.
Do you understand
same
that?
Rabbinic Jews believe that this Bible, or sorry, the Old Testament, is being reconstructed by one man, correct?
So
Okay.
they think they've
So-
lost all of the oral
And that
accounts.
this one man is the one who.
I don't believe they
reconstructed
think
the
that
text.
for a
I'm talking about
second.
the text.
For a
I'm talking
second.
about- do you want me to pull it up here?
You know that the text and the oral transmission are interchangeable, right?
I got you.
Like, if any Muslims here who have memorized the Quran, none of you, oh, you're terrible. But anyway, Muslims that
I've
memorize the
memorized
Quran,
it.
they can recite the Quran even if the Quran was thrown into the river, right? You've all heard that story before? But for some reason, when I apply the same logic to Itachi regarding the oral tradition of the Torah, all of a sudden, oh, no, I don't see how that could possibly happen. No, it definitely was totally lost in everyone's memory across the entire Jewish diaspora all at once, and one guy remembered it because he was having a great day at the time and he was paying attention when he was listening. Come on, you're gonna really believe that?
That's what they believe.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, rabbinic Jews, you want to respond to this? Tell me, is that what you think? Do you think that your Torah has been completely lost? Or that if it wasn't lost, it was just this one guy and, I don't know, maybe his pet dog or something, that were able to memorize the Torah? Absolutely, no, not at all.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the Times of Israel is not a Muslim website, yes?
What? What are you going
The
to?
Times of Israel is not a Muslim website, correct?
Okay, isn't it a journalistic? Is it a journalistic website? Times of
Yeah,
Israel.
No problem. Is it a Muslim website or Jewish?
No, but well, I guess Jewish. But why are you going to a journalistic website rather than an academic
What is the
website?
prompt? No, I could get you the academic one. No worries. I want you to know that mainstream Jews believe that their Torah is corrupted. Okay?
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
You know
The
that I
Times of
know
Israel-
Jews
can
here.
look it
You
up?
know
Can
that.
you look? I don't care what
Joseph
you know.
comes here, right? And I've had
Okay,
chats with Joseph. You know what
I'm
Joseph
not
tells me?
Joseph. I'm
He
not
actually
Joseph.
says.
Joseph's not here right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, but my
Joseph's not
point
gonna
is
save
I
you
can
from this
actually
right now.
quote
I
rabbinic
don't
Jews
care. I don't care who you can quote.
who
I'm
are
quoting
knowledgeable
for
in
you.
their faith.
I'm quoting for you the other.
But
Jews,
you're
and I can
randomly
bring one
telling
from
me
Sefaria.
some Jewish guy
Do you
said
want it
X,
from
Y, and
Sefaria?
Z.
Do you want it from Sefaria?
No, I just want to hear like actual
bring it
rabbinic
to you.
Jews deny
Yeah,
their
yeah, I
own
got you.
preservation of their own Torah,
I
according
got
to you.
you, I got you.
I already told you, if you knew anything about rabbinic Judaism, they have a very high view 2 of the Torah. They believe that Mosaic authorship, the traditional account, not the documentary hypothesis, but the traditional account is true, and they believe that Moses has perfectly preserved that to today. Not a dot or tittle has changed in the law. That's a well-known expression among rabbinic Jews.
I got you.
Just, do you want to get closer?
No, I think
Oh.
you got
No, just back up a little.
Oh, back up a bit.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I ultimately don't get how this is helping you with the Islamic dilemma.
Because the way that it helps me, because remember what I said originally in our discussion, right? We want to see whether or not your position can be substantiated where. What we want to know is whether or not your position of absolute confirmation is both historically valid as well as textually valid. Yes?
What's interesting is, my point that I made to you is that it actually doesn't need to be historically accurate. I already made, no, listen, remember, the Torah could be hopelessly corrupted. If the Quran author confirms it as inspired and preserved, then the Quran is in error.
Exactly the point, is that if it's the case,
Yeah.
what's being contended right now is whether or not the Quranic author is talking about it being wholly accepted or partially corrupted, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so in all of the
Is
places,
that not the argument? You believe in absolute confirmation,
Yeah.
meaning every single verse.
I
that's
do believe
there-
in absolute. I do
Okay,
believe the
so
Quran
that's what you're
teaches
saying
that.
the Quran is
I actually think even
Please
in a
stop
general,
interrupting me, let me finish.
I need to explain my view. You asked me for my view.
We all know the view, okay?
Yeah, but
absolutely. You've
no
said
one-
it 10 times already.
I've not actually said this yet. Let me say something new that I haven't said
Go on,
yet.
go on.
My view is absolute confirmation, like you said, but I also believe that a general confirmation also fails. That's my view. There you go.
Beautiful.
I haven't said that
You
yet.
said-
New information.
You said absolute confirmation is your position.
It is, yeah.
What we want to know is whether or not the Quran can substantiate or hold up to that point
Yeah.
in conglomeration with the prior text. Yes? Okay. My position is general confirmation, meaning from a broad sense, the stories are going to be very similar, yet we see key details being, or sorry, not key details, many minor details being different. Okay? Beautiful.
Feels like you just mean a partial confirmation, but okay.
So when it comes to the text,
Yeah.
right, what we see with the Quran is that there are many different things that are different between the Quranic account and
Yeah.
the biblical account.
That
yes?
is true.
Okay. So how can you stand here and say that the Quran is saying every single thing? I want to use a
Yeah.
very clear example. Okay.
Yeah.
In the New Testament, it says that Jesus was crucified. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And the Quran says very clearly that he was not crucified. Yeah.
No.
It doesn't say that he wasn't crucified.
No, it says in regards to the Jews, which is weird because Jews don't believe in, they don't care about the crucifixion. Christians care about the crucifixion though. But Surah An-Nisa, ayah 156 and a few verses before, the context is the Jews. And it says, the Jews, they say, and they boast that they killed the Messiah, but they did not kill him, it merely appeared to them.
They did not kill him nor crucify him.
Nor
Rather,
crucify
it
him.
was made to appear so. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You said that the Jews don't care about that narrative.
The Jews
Do you
don't
even know
believe
why
Jesus
it
is the
said
Messiah.
that? No, I know they don't believe he's
Right.
the Messiah.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know why it says that they did not kill him nor crucify him?
They want to. The Quran author wants to deny the Jews of the power of having bragged about killing
Now, I'm saying,
Isa,
why specifically would it say they didn't kill him first nor crucify him?
because it's saying you didn't kill him, let him go and crucify him.
No, so do you know that there's a Jewish account or a Jewish narrative of Jesus the Nazareth in Sanhedrin 43a, where it very clearly says that they stoned him to death first, then hung his body on the day of Passover.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they believe that they killed him first and then they
Right,
hung him.
right, sure.
Okay, beautiful. So
Yeah.
those Jews,
Yeah.
according to the Quran, right,
Yeah.
it says that this is what they tried to do, correct? Okay, but in reality, it's not true. Yes. Right.
So they tried to kill him, but they didn't, nor did they crucify him. Right. Okay. That's just robbing them of the power that they would have to say, hey, we killed Jesus. Because of course they're rabbinic Jews and they don't believe in Jesus.
Sure.
So that's exactly
Does
what
the
they would
Quran
say.
he didn't die?
What is the critical
Quran say he
consensus on
didn't
this?
die, sir?
What is the critical
Does the
consensus on
Quran say
this?
he didn't die?
Does the Quran say he didn't die?
Yes.
No, I believe the Quran says
says,
he
وَمَا
did die.
قَتَلُوهُ
Yeah.
يَقِينًا. It
So
says,
Surah
وَمَا
Al-Maryam,
قَتَلُوهُ
ayah
يَقِينًا.
33 and Surah Al-Imran, ayah 55
Chapter
I think
4,
are pretty
verse
clear.
157, it says they certainly did not kill him.
Yeah, the Jews didn't kill him, yeah. It's
So-
robbing, it's,
Wait,
so
wait,
for
wait,
example,
so you're saying it's
no,
not that, oh my God,
no.
stick with the Ahmed
Itachi,
position.
Itachi.
Hey, brother,
You're not
the
very...
Ahmadis are over there. I think the guy's
Yeah.
coming later. You can
Let's-
talk to
let
him
me
over
explain,
there.
let me
Again,
explain.
are you talking about
Okay,
my
I'm
position?
saying.
Are you going to talk about my position?
No, you
Or
asked
are
me
gonna
mine.
be
You
ridiculous?
asked me mine. You
Brother,
said to me,
I'm here
what does
talking to you about my
4157...
position.
You asked me what I thought. You said, is that saying he wasn't
Oh my
crucified?
God.
Yes? And I said no,
Yo, this
because
has
that's
gotta
not
be
my
the
view.
worst type of dishonesty I've ever seen. Okay.
What, you asked me a question about what I think of
Because
1457 and I
you
answer you.
obviously know what we're talking about here, and you want to
If you
go
said
divert
what
to an
is
Ahmadi
your position, then I would tell you your position, because I know your position. If you ask me what is my position...
Chris, this is getting sadder.
Hey guys,
okay.
let's do 5 more minutes in this and then switch the topic.
Yeah, we're going to go to the bottom.
Okay.
5 more minutes.
All right.
Guys, very clearly, okay, he knows what my position is. He very clearly said you're a Sunni Muslim. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm asking
You
you
ask,
to actually engage.
rewind the
I'm
tape.
asking you
Did she
to
say,
engage.
what do I think?
I'm
You'll see.
asking you to engage with my position. I'm
Okay.
not asking you to engage.
Well, then
with the
stop asking me
position of
questions
the
about what I
random
think. You ask me what I
I'm talking
think.
about my position. I'm talking to you.
Why are you asking me about me then? What does it matter what I think of the Quran says?
Okay, no problem. No more asking you questions. So I'm just going to go with
Yeah,
the
stop
Quran,
asking me
okay?
questions,
So the
'cause
Quran
apparently
very clearly,
you don't like
verse
it.
157, the Sunni position, the Shia position, the majority Muslim position is that Jesus did not die. Okay, that's the Quranic position, and that's the Muslim.
It's not the Quranic position, but all right.
The Quranic position, it says very clearly he did not die. Okay.
Well, the Quran
You wanna
also
take the
says that,
interpretation- you wanna
there's
try and
other-
add an
wait, wait.
interpretation or a certain interpretation that it wasn't the
The
Jews, it was
Quran-
the Romans. That's
wait,
not
wait,
written
wait,
in
the Quran-
Quran.
the Quran
That's
in-
not in the Quran, and it's
You might
very
learn
clearly
something.
dealing-
Listen.
It's very clearly dealing with the
Let me
text
explain
that the
something to you.
Jews- No, I'm not done. I'm not done.
Okay, but you-
It's dealing with the tradition where the Jews themselves, according
Okay.
to Sanhedrin 43,
Alright,
verse 20,
sure.
it says that these Jews believed that they took Jesus, stoned him, and then hung him up on a cross.
Okay.
Yes?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know why that's
Beautiful.
relevant
That's
to
what the
anything we're
Quran
saying.
is talking
But
about.
listen, what in the Quran is it not true that Allah denies people the power of having killed others? Did it not say, oh, it only appeared to you that you would kill them, but Allah actually no, it was Allah that killed them.
Sure.
Okay, so we have
Does it
basic.
say
We have
Allah
a.
killed him?
No, my point is.
No, oh my God. Does the Quran say Allah killed Jesus?
No, listen to me.
No, it
Listen
doesn't.
to me.
So
Listen to me.
nothing to do with
So
this right
you've
now.
just admitted.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
listen
This
to
is
me.
actually
Listen to me.
ridiculous.
You've just admitted that there's actually basis in the Quran for accepting that Allah robs people of their
Yes.
boastfulness
Yes.
of having killed
then it
people
makes it
and saying,
clear-
"Make it only appeared to you,
Uh-huh.
it was actually Allah that did so."
And does it say that Allah did it to him?
What did it say? He rose him up. What does
It
rise
says
up
that-
mean? What does rise up mean?
Inni mutawaffika
What does-
wa
what does
rafa'uka
rise up
ilayya.
mean?
So it rise up
Okay,
here
so-
is
so-
referring
so
to a
Jesus is
lesser-
here,
it's
Isa is
referring-
here.
Beautiful, I got you.
Isa's
Imam
there.
Malik.
He rises up. What happens?
Yes, Imam Malik's
No, he
position-
rises up. What
Can I
happens to
finish?
him?
You want an answer or
No,
not?
I would like an answer.
I'm
He
gonna
rises
give you
up. What
the
happens to
answer
him?
from Imam Malik.
Okay.
Imam Malik says that mutawaffika wa
Yep.
rafa'uka ilayya. Mutawaffika here is referring to a lesser sleep where he's being ascended. He's not dead. He's so dumb.
A lesser
You
sleep.
actually don't know.
He's a lesser sleep.
Yes,
He
Imam
had a
Malik
little bit of a nap.
Imam Malik,
Okay.
Imam Malik says that it's not death. Okay,
Just a little
Because
sleep.
death is- yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
So,
he was raised
again,
out
are
the
you doing my
atmosphere.
position or not?
He was raised out the atmosphere.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so he starved to death of oxygen. Now what?
Okay, is God the
Oh,
sustainer
wait,
of
wait.
the
Oh,
universe?
okay. So he.
Hold on,
Wait,
hold on.
wait. So
Is
there's
God
more.
the sustainer of
Wait,
everything?
there's more. There's more.
When Elijah went up
So
into the
he
skies,
put
was
him
he
into a little
deprived
bit.
of oxygen?
Wait. Let's put this all together.
Elijah
Wait.
was deprived
Wait.
of
Let's put
oxygen
this all
when he was
together.
raised up by God
Wait.
into heaven.
There's a whole thing
No
here. So
problem.
first of all, Allah lets
wanna
them think he's
ridicule
being
your own book
crucified,
too.
but he's actually not.
No problem.
Instead, he gets put in a little sleep that looks like he's dead, but he's not. Trust me,
You
he's not
wanna
dead.
ridicule your own
Then
book
he
too.
raises him up and presumably just lets him suffocate to death as he gets out the atmosphere.
Guys, this is
No, where's Allah? Where's Allah? Where's Allah? I'm debating 3 or 4 of them now. So where's Allah?
I'm gonna wrap it up right now. Okay, so
Allah
this
has a
guys,
physical
this is what
place.
happens- This is what happens when Islamianity comes and debates Muslims. Okay, they're not actually Christians. All right. They come
I was the
and
one
they-
that knew
I'll
my
let
own
you
tradition.
speak.
She had
I'll
no
let you
idea.
speak. I'll let you speak. Let me finish.
Moses' hand, no idea.
I'll let you speak. Let me finish. He comes
That's
here
embarrassing.
and he talks to me about the Islamic position. Oh, do you think that he was deprived of oxygen? Sir, do you not believe that Elijah was risen up into the heavens by God?
Sister, you're not understanding
Yes or
mockery.
no?
Let me
Yes or
explain.
no?
I'm not
Was
saying.
Elijah risen up
I'm
into the
not
heavens?
saying to you. I'm not saying to you. One second. I'm not saying to you. I deny miracles. Obviously, I believe miracles. I'm a
Right, so
Christian.
God could sustain him and make sure
Right.
that he's able
What
to
I'm
breathe
saying
and
is
so on,
that
right?
you are
So just
reading.
made a ridiculous point
You are
and it
reading.
backfired on you,
You're
right?
reading into the
It backfired.
Quran
It's okay.
things that are not there.
It's okay. It's
All
okay.
it
It backfired
says
on you. No
is that
problem.
he is
Now let's get to
taken to
Muhammad,
him
okay?
and he is at his throne.
Beautiful.
So Jesus is at Allah's throne.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you
Really?
ridiculed-
What does it say? Eyes thrown.
The next verse.
What does it say? Eyes thrown.
The Quran says that he
Wait,
got
are you gonna
his
show that? Quote.
Okay. Does it not say in the next verse Isa was taken to Allah?
Does
It
that
says
mean that he
Rafael
must be the same?
Ilayya. It doesn't say that.
Let's wrap.
I don't know. If I went to where you are, am I in the same location as you?
Wait,
Is the
wait,
web
wait,
too
one second,
almost
one second.
toward?
If you go to a campfire,
No, sorry.
are
He
you
was
inside
around the
campfire?
throne. It was like somewhere
Hold on,
near it,
hold on.
right?
If you're going towards a campfire, are you inside the campfire?
Sorry?
If you go towards a campfire, are you inside the campfire?
Well, a campfire has multiple meanings.
Okay, so I'm talking about
Does
the
the throne
fire,
have multiple
the
meanings?
Fire, the fire, sir, the fire.
No,
Are
you said
inside the fire?
campfire. Campfire
The
can refer to an
campfire. I'm
area
referring to the fire.
where you make camp.
I'm referring to the fire.
Right, so the fire
Are you
in a
inside the
campfire.
fire? If I say
right,
I'm going towards the fire, am I
that's
in
a
the
bad
fire?
example, Itachi.
Right, because you're not gonna be in
Campfire
the
can
fire,
mean
right?
both the area
Beautiful, thank
and the
you.
actual
So
fire,
towards and
depending
to-
on how you use
towards
it.
and to- towards words
can
in Greek be
thrown
up words and
or
can be
can
like-
location mean different things in different contexts?
It's okay. You can start panicking now. We could get to Muhammad in the Bible.
I think that's a big panic, Itachi. Can I summarize this and then we move on to your topic?
We're done with that. We're gonna get to Muhammad.
No, well, let's summarize,
No,
and then you can
we're
do your
done.
thing.
How about this? Just one final statement?
Yeah, one final statement.
All right,
You
go
You want me to go first and go?
No, you go.
You go first.
Okay,
You
absolutely
go
fine.
first, and-
Absolutely, beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've seen some pretty embarrassing fails here. First of all, Itachi had no idea at all about Exodus chapter 4, verses 6 to 7. Didn't actually know the full account of Moses' sign, the third sign, putting the hand in and taking it out. That to me is embarrassing. Sister, you need to learn our scriptures before you critique them and contrast them. When I looked at the Islamic dilemma and I wrote my book, because yes, I am going to plug my book, of course I am, I looked at your tradition and I studied it and I gave it the due respect. But for some reason, I don't see that reciprocated. And I find that in poor taste. Now, you tried conscious edits, you couldn't give accurate examples, you tried going to the crucifixion, that turned into an entire mess because you couldn't even present the narrative in a coherent way, which makes sense because no Muslim has presented the crucifixion narrative in a coherent sense from an Islamic paradigm. So again, the Islamic dilemma, there are contradictions. Jesus is said to be the Son in a real sense of the Father in the Gospels. The Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 18 denies it. The Quran makes it very clear that Allah has no children. And yet, the Jews bring this up. I'm just giving you a summary. So, I have given you these examples. She doesn't have anything for this. She doesn't have no response, no nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the Islamic dilemma stands.
Beautiful.
Oh, really?
Thank you very much. He brought us a bunch of random examples to machine gun up at the end because he didn't want to actually deal with them.
Deal with them now then.
I'm not done. I'll let you
Don't interrupt. Let her.
Okay, that was rude of me.
So he
That was
wants
rude
to
of me.
bring
Oh,
up
sorry,
all
mate, am I
these-
in the way?
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know where you want to put it.
I bet. Yo, Chris, can 2 means towards, by the way? Hey, no more mics. No more mics.
Yeah, just wait.
Okay. So he wants to bring up all of these examples at the end because he knows he'd get scolded on every single one of them if he brings it up. It's okay. No worries, Chris. It's okay. You should panic about it. He embarrassed himself trying to bring up something about Allah sustaining an individual, having oxygen or no oxygen, forgetting that Elijah and Elisha were raised up into the heavens according to the Bible. It's okay, Chris. We get it. It's fine. According to what he was saying, he didn't want to actually deal with the substance. He said it out of his own mouth. He wants to go into the little nitty-gritty parts of the story, not actually deal with the actual substance itself of whether or not it was leprous or not leprous, according to the Sunni account. Okay. So Chris, it's okay. People are made by your little book. It's honestly, I watched the lecture that he had for it as well. I did watch it.
Hang on.
I watched the lecture. Not that great. Not a fan. It was okay.